Welcome back. It's Saturday morning. Time now is coming up on 9:15. We've enjoyed a beautiful stretch of weather. It's cool, refreshing weather across southwest Florida, but now the cool air starts to fade away as we head through the course of the weekend. Here's a look outside on the HD camera. This is out at Fort Myers Beach, looking toward the south. The waters of the Gulf of Mexico looking pretty smooth, but we have noticed an increase in cloud cover, and that'll be one of the stories as we go through the course of the weekend. Some moisture coming over from the Atlantic side and streaming into southwest Florida, so we'll continue to see a mix of sun and clouds as we go through the day today. And temperatures, again, starting out on the cool side, not quite as cool as where we started this time yesterday. We had temperatures cooling off down to the low 50s in some spots, getting all the way down into the middle to upper 40s. Here's another view from the HD camera in downtown Fort Myers. From the top of the Art of the Olympians facility. Of course, we have the boat show going on through the weekend. The weather looking really nice for that. Enjoying right now sunshine in downtown Fort Myers. Temperatures warming up to the lower 60s and area wide after starting out in the upper 50s. Many of us now starting to get to the low to middle 60s. One of the sites in Fort Myers here across Lee County around 64 degrees, 65 down the coastline through Collier County, and looking at the middle 60s here across the interior where we saw some spots get down to around the middle 50s. All right, here's one of the things we're tracking. Notice all the cloud cover on the other side of the state. We're tracking also an area of high pressure to the north, and this moisture getting wrapped around that. So the steering flow today out of the east, and that'll help to steer a lot of that cloud cover into southwest Florida, but also expecting to see a nice mix of sunshine. Here's a close-up view here at 9:15 of the First Alert Live radar. Even though we are seeing some more moisture push our way, it doesn't look like we'll see much in the way of our rain chance. Rain chance less than 10%. So most of us expect it to stay dry, and that will remain the case as we go throughout the entirety of the weekend. Tracking temperatures by 10 o'clock, we start to warm to the upper 60s to lower 70s. And then as we fast forward through this afternoon, around 2 o'clock, we'll give you a snapshot using our in-house computer model. You know, yesterday we topped out around 76 degrees in most spots, but today I think we tack on a few more degrees, and that's the beginning of a warming trend that we'll see continue as we head through Sunday as well. Let's go right to our forecast mode. We can pick out some of these patchy clouds here across southeast Florida. They get picked up with that easterly wind flow and driven into southwest Florida. So there may be times as we head through the day, like this morning, where we see more clouds and sunshine, but I think we'll see some of this cloud cover thin out as we head through the afternoon hours. One thing we're not seeing a lot of is rain. You'll notice some spotty shower activity here across the east coast of Florida. But these showers have a hard time surviving the journey across the peninsula, which is why we're expecting rain chances to continue to stay on the low side for now. All right, let's talk about the long-term forecast. Well, we'll start short-term. We'll start with Sunday, and notice looking nice and clear as we head through Sunday morning. Still dealing with that low-level cloud cover. Here's the next weather system we'll be tracking as we head into next week. A cool front, you know, the last two have made it all the way down into southwest Florida, giving us that nice little stretch of cool weather. But this one, it looks like, we'll run out of steam as we head through early next week. Notice how that little stripe of moisture sort of just fades away. So that one not making it all the way down the Florida Peninsula, which means we're not looking at any cool spells as we head through the next 7 days. For today, warming up a little more, 79 degrees, a little on the breezy side with those winds coming in out of the east between 5 and 15, and we could see some gusts getting up to around 20 miles per hour. Winds on the waterways out of the northeast at 15 knots, seas at 2 feet, inland waters at a moderate chop. The Gulf temperature a little on the cool side, down to 68 degrees. Our low temperatures not quite as cool as we head through the overnight. Most spots cooling off to around 60. And we'll keep a few patchy clouds in the forecast, but overall we'll see a mostly clear sky. Heading into Sunday, we see another little boost in the high temperatures, 83 degrees during the afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds. The low temperatures continue to see a little modest warming trend as we only cool to the middle 60s heading through the overnights into next week. And our daytime highs, middle 80s there from Monday into Tuesday. Now starting Wednesday, we might have enough moisture to squeeze out a couple of stray showers, but it doesn't look like our rain chances will be very high, generally less than 30% as we go through the next 7 days. That's your NBC2 First Alert forecast.
All right, thank you, Jason. A new study, Dunning joins us with your First Alert forecast. Jason, things starting to warm up out there?
Yeah, Joe and Kelly, and that's actually going to be the trend as we go through the weekend. You know, we recently saw a cool spell here across southwest Florida, but temperatures now on the way up. Now it is starting out on the cool side this morning. A lot of us getting down to the upper 50s close to sunrise, but temperatures now starting to make the climb into the middle 60s. Hey, there's a view there from Southwest Florida International on our private sky aviation cam. Some more cloud cover in the sky today, and that's something else we'll notice as some Atlantic moisture sort of gets carried over with that easterly wind flow. Here's a roundup of temperatures. A lot of us in the middle 60s already. Some lower 60s farther to the north around Punta Gorda, one of the cool spots there, checking in at 62 degrees, but we'll tack on a few more degrees to our high temperature as we go through the day. Note the cloud cover here to the east, especially over southeast Florida. Some of this survives the journey. Already this morning, we've seen some of this cloud cover make it into southwest Florida. But note on the live first alert radar, no signs of rain, so our rain chance will continue to stay on the low side and actually less than 10% for all of us over southwest Florida. All right, here's how your forecast plays out for this Saturday. As we head closer to 10 o'clock, we'll get into the middle 60s. Another 10-degree jump as we get closer to midday, around 74 degrees for the mix of sun and clouds, and that continues through the afternoon. Something else to note, too, a little on the breezy side today. Winds out of the east between 5 and 15 with some gusts up to 20. Coming up in your full forecast in about 15 minutes, we'll see if there's any changes on the way for us as we head into next week.
All right, Jason, thank you. NBC2 is following.
Welcome back. It's Saturday morning. Time now is 9:45, and so far a nice start to the Saturday. We're starting out with a mix of sun and clouds. A little more cloud cover this morning compared to the last couple mornings. We had crystal clear blue skies. And here's the scene from Punta Gorda on top of the Charlotte Regional Medical Center, looking out toward the Peace River to the north here. The water's a little bit choppy. The trees swaying in the breeze here. Wind's not looking too impressive right now, but we have seen some gusts get up to around 10 and 15, and that's going to be one of the stories today as winds start to ramp up a little bit as we head through this afternoon out of the east. And we could see some wind gusts getting up to around 20 miles per hour. So it could be one of those hold on to your hat kind of days today. Meanwhile, with temperatures, we started out on the cool side, area-wide getting down to the 50s, but now temperatures steadily starting to warm to the middle to upper 60s, closing in on 70 in a lot of spots right now in Fort Myers. Good morning. We're at 68 degrees, 66 in Cape Coral, and you see where the cool spots are here to the north across Charlotte County around Punta Gorda. We just took a live look there. Temperatures around 62 degrees, but we're going to see that warm-up process continue rather quickly as we go through the morning. Here's one of the little wrenches, we'll call it, in the forecast. You look back off to the east, we're tracking a big batch of clouds here. The wind flow coming in out of the east, which is helping to steer some of this cloud cover into southwest Florida. A lot of the clouds sort of faded and fizzled, but we're seeing some of it survive the journey across the peninsula. So we'll notice a few more patchy clouds in the forecast today. Something else we've just noticed on the radar here popping up over the last 20 minutes, some sprinkles just south of the lake, but I think as we go through the next little bit, these will likely continue to fade as the moisture is just not quite plentiful enough to produce those high rain chances. So the chance of getting wet today likely less than 10%. We could see a stray sprinkle heading into Sunday, but it doesn't look too promising as far as our rain prospects. Temperatures, let's track them. Yesterday we got up to around 76 degrees. This morning by 10 o'clock, lower 70s to upper 60s. And then by the afternoon, as we get to around 2 o'clock, this is when we typically see our high temperature for the day. We'll tack on a few more degrees compared to what we saw yesterday. So I think a lot of sites getting up to around 78, 79, maybe a few 80s sprinkled in there across the board as well. Humidity continues to stay on the low side, but again, we'll see enough moisture to produce some of those patchy clouds riding that easterly wind flow. You can see all this taking shape as we look at the latest forecast mode. And we'll go through around midday today. A few spotty showers here across southeast Florida, but I think they're going to have a hard time making it all the way through southwest Florida. We could see 1 or 2 sprinkles here develop just south of the lake around Clewiston and Moorhaven. 8 o'clock tonight, a few patchy clouds linger, but I think we'll see the clouds start to fade as we head through the overnight hours. And let's give you a look into your Veterans Day. Starting out on the clear side Sunday morning, still a mix of sun and clouds. And let's look on the horizon here to the northwest. This is the next cool front we'll be tracking. You know, the last two made it all the way down into southwest Florida, which is why we had that cool spell. But this one, it looks like we'll sort of run out of gas as it gets into north and central Florida. So this one not making it all the way down our way, which means temperatures stay pretty warm as we head into next week. No cool spells on the horizon, at least for the next 7 days. A warm up in store today, up to 79, partly cloudy and breezy. Again, those gusts getting up to around 20. We'll notice it on the waterways too, those northeast winds coming in at around 15 knots. That'll put seas at around 2 feet. Inland waters at a moderate chop to choppy, and the Gulf temperature around 68. Not quite as cool tonight, down to 60 degrees with a few lingering clouds. Heading into Sunday, we'll see another breezy one. Notice the warm up too. Most of us for the daytime highs get up to around 83 degrees, and we're topping out in the middle 80s as we travel into next week. We'll see a partly cloudy sky each day, and overnight temperatures not quite as cool either, actually a little on the mild side as we get down to the middle 60s. That is your NBC2 First Alert forecast.
All right, Jason, look